How do you design and build a multi-million-dollar business with only $10,000? I believe that's the question he's asking. How do you make one with 10K? How do you design and build a multi-million-dollar business with only $10,000? We get a lot of questions like that because everybody expects to build a multi-million-dollar business or a $10 million business or even a $20 million business. You require a lot of money. And in reality, you do. But there's a trade-off. Either you're using money to start a business and building a great team, or you're using sweat equity to design the business and eventually build a great team. But at the beginning, because you don't have $50,000 and a lot of sweat equity and a lot of leverage tools, so you can build a great team to grow a business to $20 million, you have to use sweat equity and time, right? So there's no trade-off, there's no shortcuts, there's no way to build a multi-million-dollar business by taking shortcuts. So the people that spend a lot of time on TikTok looking for shortcuts, I'm sorry to disappoint you, there isn't such a thing. Everybody's looking for drop shipping businesses. That's really a shortcut. How do I get very successful by not doing a lot of work and just inventing a great shortcut or a great business or a great business idea? All those terms, how do I find the latest fad or business? That's a shortcut, right? We don't deal with shortcuts. We deal with non-sexy businesses that have been successful and have been around for 20 or 50 years. We don't deal, well, we've designed a few dropshipping businesses, in carbon fiber bikes and unique products. You have to have a very unique product. And it's not just the product, it's branding and differentiation. How do you get your unique product in front of the ideal client, right? Consistently, because it's not just one, you have to do it, 10,000 times a month. How do you get in front of your future potential clients at least 10,000 times a month? Because only a certain percentage of those people, 1 or 2%, are going to be ready to say, yeah, I want that, or I'm going to investigate that, or I want that service or that product, right? So to answer your question, and I hope I answered it, at least in broad strokes, either you're using money to build a team, to design and build a strategy and a team, a business blueprint, aggressive marketing system, and the other 33 tools. So either you're using money to do that, or you're using little money with a lot of sweat equity and time. Instead of doing it in months with a great team, now you're using years to do it, but it still can be done. Now, we've asked this question a number of times in Facebook groups. I run one of the groups that has 335,000 members, and we asked that question. We've asked it 3 times already. How did you start your business? Right? And most people started their business with less than $10,000, right? Some started with a ladder and a toolbox and a pickup truck. So you can start it with $10,000, even less, but keep in mind chances are you're going to use your hands. You're going to create a job first before you start a business. So that's the disadvantage. So I would suggest if you don't want something 10 years from today, don't do it today, because when you start working with your hands, it means you are the business. And 10 years from today, or even 20 years from today, eventually hopefully you're going to want to sell that business. And it's impossible if you are the business and the business is around you. How can you get out of the middle? How can you sell a business where you are the business? How can you replace yourself if you are the business? And this is where, there are sweet spots. I think the sweet spot is start with $50,000 instead, with great branding, great differentiation, and a great team, and use leverage tools and use offshoring, like social media managers in the Philippines, to elevate that company. Because a lot of the work, or 90% of the work, or even 95% of the work, is pre-launch stage, right? Pre-launch. Using a website that has been around for 12 years in a business in a box, or a pre-designed business in a box. So if you were to invest $50,000 and buy a business in a box, and we have quite a few of those, and inside that box is a website that has been aging with Google and building credibility with Google, and is going to be part of an index site, which means 1,000 people like you are going to do the same thing in their own geographical area, their own city. All of a sudden now you have 1,000 people working towards building that website to a dominant site where you have a lot of credibility. You automatically take market share because it's dominating the market. Every time somebody searches roofing or painting or flooring or kitchens or whatever it is, that site comes off number 1 or number 2 or number 3, and you get an unfair advantage in terms of leads, right? So, and that's what you get when you start at $50,000 level and you build a great team. You dominate your city in terms of whatever product or service you want to offer. That's called an index site. And we talk a lot about index sites in our live events, 10X Networking, live at 12 noon Eastern Time. Every day we talk about business strategies, how you can start a business from $0 using branding, differentiation, and the other 33 tools and elevate that company to $5 million, $10 million, $20 million. A second very popular conversation in our series is how do you buy an existing business that has been around for 20 or 40 years, producing $2 to $5 million or even $800 to $5 million. How do you buy that business for $1, right? And again, I explain what's happening there. It's baby boomers were notorious for starting businesses more so than any other generation, probably combined, because C-level students back then, 4 years ago, your only recourse was to start a business. If you didn't want to be a slave to someone else, you started a business, and everyone started a business back then, 40 years ago. So, but now these baby boomers want to retire, and they expected their sons or daughters to take over, and it's not happening, right? 90% of these businesses get shut down. So instead of shutting down a business, make a deal with them. You and I become partners. I'll show you what branding, differentiation, aggressive marketing system, and the other 33 tools are. And you and I become partners. We buy these businesses for $1, and we split the proceeds when we sell this company, 12 months later, right? I think it's a great plan because these people are going to get $0 for 40 years of effort. And keep in mind, they've had a great lifestyle. Yes, they broke their bodies, they worked hard, but they had great clientele. They survived by referrals, right? So they're doing a good job. They have great referrals, right? So now what we have to do is go back for the last 10 years and get those referrals on record, preferably on video, to double and triple the size of this business, and also using branding and differentiation to double or triple the size of the business. We sell this business for 10 or $12 million and split some of the proceeds back to the previous owner, and who is going to be extremely happy with that because he was going to get $0 for it. So it's about redesigning that business, taking it to the next level, and selling that business. And there are many other strategies, many other popular topics that we talk about. Blind spots is the third one. What is it that we don't know as business owners, right? There's a lot of blind spots. So when we expose light to these blind spots, all of a sudden the light bulb goes off and says, aha, now I understand why I was having so much trouble with that. Now I understand why I couldn't attract quality employees. Now I understand why I couldn't attract profitable clients. So please join us on 10X Networking Live every day at 12 noon Eastern Time. Ask your questions. Share the live with other people that you know that either have jobs or have a business that need to solve some challenges, and we'll answer your questions. We'll talk again soon. Take care.